tablet letter. Controversial ads with shocking messages are set to debut in San Francisco. Here's a sample. Quote, "Killing Jews is worship that draws us close to Allah." The ads are being posted on buses around San Francisco. 10 of them have gone up. Earlier, I talked with a woman who's behind the ads. I asked Pamela Geller and her group, American Freedom Defense Initiative, why?
Our ads were designed to show the reality of jihad using actual quotes from high-profile Muslims like the Prime Minister of Turkey, the Fort Hood jihadi, the Times Square bomber, to increase awareness about the ideology that sanctions the violence and supremacism of jihad.
You're being accused of this being just blatantly anti-Muslim, though. What is your reaction to that criticism?
Well, it's deeply offensive to Muslims because the implication is that all Muslims support jihad, and we know that that's not true. But we don't have to pat on the back every Muslim that doesn't want to kill us. We expect that. That's our bar. So I think that that's a canard. I think it's a deceptive statement. I know from my own email box that many Muslims stand with us because they escaped jihadi wars and they escaped the Sharia. But there have been over 20,000 deadly Islamic attacks since 9/11, and Americans need to understand the ideology that inspires these acts of war.
All right, Pamela, I want to bring in Linda Sarsour. She's with the National Network of Arab American Communities. Linda, you've seen these ads. Pamela says she's quoting Muslims, including Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. What's your reaction?
The ads are absurd. They're offensive. You're quoting a man who is a Holocaust denier. I mean, he's not an American Muslim. And Ms. Geller has a history and track record of vilifying the Muslim American community and pinning communities up against each other, including her most recent homophobic ads, which are very offensive not only to the Muslim American community, but also to the LGBT community here in the United States.
This is not the first time that ads have gone up. You'll remember the controversy over similar ads in New York. Pamela, your organization successfully sued the New York City Transit Agency when it tried to ban those ads. The issue, for First Amendment freedom of speech. So San Francisco's Transit Authority is in the same boat. Listen.
So this is again what we see: ad hominem attacks, libels, and defamation against me. They don't condemn the statements in the ads. You have the Prime Minister of Turkey saying the mosques are our fortresses, the minarets are our bayonets, and the Muslims are our soldiers. And the quotes that I'm using are actual quotes from the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, Sheikh Qaradawi, calling for the death penalty for homosexuals. My calling attention to this makes me homophobic? No, not calling attention to the plight of gays under the Sharia is killing people. So, of course, attack me, but where is the condemnation of the actual statements that these high-profile Muslims are making? We don't hear that at all.
Well,
I think it's very interesting, and it speaks volumes as to the motive behind.
But there's been plenty of I will say there's been plenty of condemnation of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and for statements that he has said about homosexuals and homosexuality. I mean, there's been plenty of condemnation of him and others. I mean, there's been prosecution of some of the people that you show on these, the Times Square bomber and the like. So it's not as if, I guess I don't understand your point.
My point is the American people are being disarmed by obscuring the true reality of jihad, and this is our way of sort of leapfrogging over the media, who whitewashes and sanitizes it, and alerting the American people to what is the gravest national security threat that our nation faces.
Linda, can you see how the courts view this as a freedom of speech, that it is Pamela's right to put up these billboards?
I'm not debating her right and her freedom of speech, and that's why we live in the United States of America. But I will say, particularly on the homophobic remarks, we could take these ads and it could be about any of the Abrahamic faiths, which have similar, if not identical, views on homosexuality. But what I'm troubled by is Ms. Geller's obsession and fascination with Islam and with American Muslims.
All right, both women favor individual rights for all and freedom of speech. They just see it very differently from very different perspectives.